We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with some news regarding Seth Rollins and his highly discussed upcoming Backlash 2023 match against the lumbering giant Omos. Now, by all means, when WWE randomly announced the addition of Seth Rollins vs Omos for the Backlash 2023 Premium Live event a few days ago on social media, this announcement not only shocked fans because of how random the match seemed, as there has been no build up to Rollins vs Omos whatsoever, and as expected, many wrestling fans are already beginning to question Seth Rollins' status in WWE, like if he's on his way out of the company soon, or if Rollins is getting punished by WWE for some reason, hence the pairing with Omos for Backlash. However, according to one of our sources, Ringside News, Seth Rollins is apparently not getting punished whatsoever in WWE, and his upcoming clash with Omos at Backlash is seemingly just a bit of a random match, with this being what Steve Carrier of Ringside News had to say on the matter. Quote, Seth Rollins vs Omos for WWE Backlash had no build prior to its announcement. A lot of fans have questions about this decision. We asked if the match could be punishment of some kind, and we were told that he's far, far away from being punished, not even remotely close. Now perhaps WWE simply decided to have Seth Rollins vs Omos at Backlash because it seems like a fresh new special match, but by all means when this announcement came out on social media, it seemed like most fans were not happy about the direction for Seth Rollins going into Backlash, and that Omos is literally the last superstar WWE should have chosen to be Seth Rollins' next feud. Let us know your thoughts on WWE's rather bizarre decision to have Seth Rollins feud with Omos for Backlash, and does this match excite you, or do you agree with the sentiment among many on social media that this is a complete waste for Seth Rollins, and is a completely randomly thrown together match, and an overall bad decision on WWE's part, especially considering there really is no story behind this match whatsoever? Now we have some absolutely massive news coming out of last night's edition of Monday Night Raw, because for those of you unaware, it was reported prior to Raw going on the air that former WWE Champion and current AEW star CM Punk was backstage at Raw this week in Chicago, according to PW Insider, and this is what PW Insider had to say on the matter. Quote, former WWE and current AEW star CM Punk was backstage for a bit at tonight's Monday Night Raw taping, PWInsider.com has confirmed. Tonight's taping is being held in his hometown of Chicago, Rosemont, Illinois, right outside at the Allstate Center, the same venue where Punk defeated John Cena for the WWE title at the 2011 Money in the Bank pay-per-view. There's no word who CM Punk was there visiting, but we have heard from several WWE sources that he did briefly see Paul Levesque, Triple H, which would have been the first time the two have met in person since the day Punk walked out of the company back in 2014. Punk also met with several other WWE talents, but was eventually asked to exit the arena. One WWE source believed it may have been since he was under contract to another company. We are told by the same source that it was Vince McMahon's call that he leave the venue, and that when he was asked, CM Punk immediately said his goodbyes and left the building. By all means, this news completely blew up on social media last night, and CM Punk was arguably the biggest topic among fans during Monday Night Raw, and for good reason, as it is truly surprising to hear that CM Punk, a talent currently signed to AEW, not to mention Punk's pretty shaky relationship with WWE, was backstage at Raw, something pretty well no one could have seen coming. Now what this all means when it comes to CM Punk being backstage at Raw is still unclear, although that certainly has not stopped wrestling fans from speculating that perhaps we could be getting one more CM Punk run in WWE at some point in the future, though that is pretty unlikely at this point as CM Punk is still tied to AEW. And the fact that reports indicated that Vince McMahon basically forced CM Punk to leave the venue last night on Raw sort of makes it clear that things are not completely sorted out between CM Punk and WWE by any stretch of the imagination. Hopefully, CM Punk's visit to Raw last night does not affect his ongoing discussions with AEW and Tony Khan ahead of his rumored return to All Elite Wrestling. Let us know your thoughts on the major news that CM Punk was reported to be behind the scenes for a period of time at Raw last night, and what do you think this all means? While the news of CM Punk being backstage at Raw last night was a major talking point among fans, another thing about Monday Night Raw caught the attention of the wrestling world, and it is definitely not great news for WWE by any means. Now, a major talking point surrounding the WWE sale to Endeavor was who is actually going to be in control of the creative duties and responsibilities of WWE when it comes to the main roster. Because while Vince McMahon tried making it clear that this would still be Triple H's job, that did not stop there from being rumors and speculation that Vince could have been slowly working his way back into that head of creative role in WWE, and taking things over from Triple H, who had been filling in for Vince after he temporarily retired last summer. Now, according to one of our sources, PW Insider, while Vince McMahon was not physically backstage in WWE last night on Monday Night Raw, apparently about 2 hours prior to Raw going on the air, Vince McMahon was making some quote major changes to last night's script for Raw remotely. Without question, this news has shocked most fans, and by all means, many within the wrestling community right now fear the worst, that Vince McMahon is quietly moving Triple H out of that head of creative role, and that McMahon's back in power behind the scenes. Because while McMahon did say in that press release about the sale of WWE to Endeavor that he would only be overseeing some aspects of creative and not the quote nitty-gritty details, the fact that Vince was reportedly rewriting and changing the script for Raw last night basically confirms that he is overseeing creative and wants the final say on things, which really hinders Triple H's ability to run the shows the way he feels they should be, as the supposed head of creative, because McMahon's changing things at the last minute and clearly wants that final say. It does appear like Vince is basically ending Triple H's era of booking Raw, SmackDown, and the main roster premium live events, and this may not be good news for WWE. With all this said, let us know your guys' thoughts on the reports from yesterday that Vince made some major changes to the Raw script last night, just hours before the show went on the air. And do you feel like this is bad news for WWE overall, if Vince is working his way back into his position of power in creative, and taking that said power away from Triple H? Or would you guys be happy if Vince McMahon is once again booking the shows? We finish off today's wrestling news and rumors video with an update on Lita's status in WWE, and according to PW Insider Elite, Lita has not been at any WWE shows since she was taken out backstage on Monday Night Raw a couple of weeks ago, prior to Becky Lynch's and Trish Stratus's women's tag team title match, and there are apparently no concrete plans for Lita in WWE moving forward, which does sort of suggest that Lita's done in WWE for the time being, and the focus has shifted to Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch, although it would not be that surprising if Lita returns to WWE at some point to get revenge against Trish Stratus, although that does remain to be seen if it happens.